welcome to the Karmotrine Lounge. I'm your host, Cherry Bomb.
And I'm here too. You can call me Eyeball for now. Today, we're going to talk about a few things that interest us and hopefully can catch your attention for a little bit. Ironically, I think we're going to choose pilots today. Does that sound good with you, Cherry?
Yep, and we're not talking about the ones in airplanes.
Oh no. We're talking about pilots as in the first airing of a series, show, or maybe even a game, like a demo of sorts. Yeah. So, it's kind of up in the air what kind of pilots we can discuss. But I've got quite the bag to unpack here. I don't know about you,
Yeah,
but
how about you start us off right now, since you're
sure.
kind of a cartoon aficionado?
I wouldn't say that. I just, keep my nose in the animation scene a little bit. But I guess we should probably bring up the most well known ones, or maybe ones that our fans could have seen. There's a lot of new online pilots going around these days. They're with shows trying to get launched via independent creators or what have it. I guess we got to talk about Has Been Hotel, if you can
Ooh, that
consider that
one.
a pilot.
It is
It's
being made
it's
into production right now as we speak on the
yeah, I
stage.
remember I remember it got picked up, but I don't know by who exactly. I just know that it really kicked up a lot of dust when it first started.
Hmm.
And even now, like the video's got like, I don't even know if it's like 100 million views now or something.
It's
But
pretty popular.
oh yeah, it's got its own little fan base going, and starting off spin-off series and all that. It's all done by Vivzy Pop, which I didn't know too much about her at the time, but kind of learning, like in her style and like in the production value. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. And now, what are they doing now? Like Hell of a Boss, I think.
I
That's
also have notes on that, but we can talk about that later. Let's start off with
um
Has Been Hotel.
Sure, sure. I mean, like, well, it's has been. I mean, I don't really feel the need to go over what it is. I feel like almost everyone's seen it at this point. I mean, it's about these little demons in hell running around trying to make like a little I don't know feel good hotel that rehabilitates demons and stuff.
Kind of like
It's kind of
Rehab.
a funny comp. Yeah, it's exactly it's hell rehab, but there's a little bit of conflict because it's hell, and no one cares about rehab. But no, it was a great little first episode. I think really
Hmm.
set the stage well enough to open up to a bunch of new venues, establish characters, all that stuff. I do remember though, it was a little bit too how you say antsy for me because it had a bunch of sound effects and stuff constantly,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
which
it is hell, and
well, I get it's hell, but it shouldn't be like noise hell for the viewer, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
It's fine. I mean, it wasn't that big of a problem, but the main concerns are going to be, toning down the production for the actual series because see how fluid the animation was and how crazy it got. I don't know if that's going to fly for a full production.
Yeah, that's a hard thing with pilots. It's either they take off really strong, or it's just like very basic.
Well, I mean, that could get into a whole other topic of how different pilots look compared to the real, or I guess I should say established series that they lead into. But I mean, as of right now, for Has Been, all we really have is the pilot. So,
Mhm.
fingers crossed.
One thing I was surprised about Has Been Hotel is they got Stamper on there.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
He
Yeah,
was
they
the
got
Eggman.
they got cartoon funny man himself, Stamper.
They got
Got
Behemoth Man voice actor himself, Mr. Buckle Your Pants, Stamper.
Behemoth man. Yeah, he was. They brought him on for that one Behemoth game, Battle Block, didn't they?
Battle Block and that other one with the arena. Never mind. Never
Hit
mind.
People, I
Pit
think.
People. Yes.
Maybe. Are those vintage games at this point? God, I don't
Mhm.
know. Stamper, he's got his own little crew, I think, with the sleepy cabin guys. I don't know, did they go by that anymore? They got that. They
It
got
seems
like
like they went
Oni
on a
NG.
very long hiatus.
Well, they're still on hiatus technically, but
Mhm.
got like there are other little members of that gang going on, like Chris O'Neill, Oni NG, Psychic Pebbles, all them. They got stuff. In fact, they actually did the pilot themselves. You remember that?
Oh yeah, they did.
Hellbenders that leaked online for a bit.
That's a nice transition, my friend.
I know. I couldn't look the opportunity down.
Yeah.
But Hellbenders was this little hellion idea, I guess. Yeah, great alliteration. But just like it's literally just
Chris and
Chris and
Zach.
Zach just running around and being like ridiculous in their own little world, which it could have taken off. I think it would have been really funny, but
Hmm.
for now, all we got is a few internet shorts and that one lost episode that everyone else re-uploaded except for them.
And my favorite, the Christmas special.
Oh, they did everything.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? But I mean, I guess Zach moved on to a better kind of side and went on to actually get some stuff going with Adult Swim. Remember he did Smiling Friends?
Yeah, I have that on my notes.
Yeah, no, I got that one too.
It's just
But
like it's just I don't know who the other one is, but he's like an Australian like comedian.
he did fine enough.
Yeah.
Still feel that Zach definitely worked on that when you watch it. It's this
Yeah.
cursed little show. But
To
two
where
guys running around making
trying to
people
make people
smile.
happy. And their first
God,
episode, stop a man from killing himself.
it gets a little grim, but I think that's kind of the punchline.
Yeah.
And then again, their corporate building's a giant smiling face, so I don't know how we're supposed to interpret that sort of stuff.
And I just love the little gremlin who just goes "Nee."
Yeah, God,
Just Zach at a high pitch.
that entire show is just Zach at different voices.
Yeah.
Oh, what else do I got here in my notes? Oh yeah, I don't know if you've known about this stuff, but the one pilot that went around everywhere, it's called Becky Prim. It was
Becky Prim.
yeah, it was about some like emo high school student girl
Oh, I
running
remember seeing
around
that
just
like once or twice in
yeah,
2013.
2013. I don't know if it's even been up that long.
It's been
Probably
up for a
has.
while.
All I know is that it looks a lot like Ren and Stimpy. But oh
Ren
my god, I
Stimpy
guess
or Ed, Ed, and Eddie, I would even say.
a little bit of both. It's still kind of like an animatic, but honestly, I think it's got a lot of potential, especially with the way the animation's gonna go.
Hmm.
Hopefully, and then again, it hasn't been picked up yet. I don't think. At the time, I should say, at the time of recording,
Yeah.
it hasn't been picked up. Oh God, I guess that I didn't even have this one written down, but that the Ren and Stimpy creator did like a little Kickstarter pilot to a little cartoon, didn't he?
He
Did you
did,
hear
and
about
it
that one?
did get made.
And it was awful.
It was pretty
It was
bad.
well, it was what even was
Unmarked
it?
cans.
Unmarked can I thought that was a History Channel show for a second, but God, no, it was just I don't even know what it was. It
Mhm.
was
And
just
then it
awful.
kind of went downhill when people kind of dug up his past.
Oh well, I mean, you can do that for literally every creator, any cartoon creator at this point. Someone's got dirt. What else we got?
Speaking
Oh
about
yeah.
dirt
Oh
and
yeah.
doing dirty deeds done dirt cheap, I'm gonna switch
Yeah.
it back to Hell of a Boss. So
Mm.
this show actually did get picked right back up, or didn't
Did
get
it
picked
get
up.
picked up? I thought she was just continuing it
Yeah,
herself.
I think she got both her and the main imp himself, voiced by Brendan Rogers,
Brandon
did a
Rogers.
lot of paid a lot of money to get this like on YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's all free. That's what I love about the online stuff. It's all you just get. You go watch it. It's like 3 episodes in so far.
I counted at 4 because
Or after
that
the
pilot,
pilot.
yeah,
The pilot was very good.
yeah.
Very good. I
I
actually
know
haven't
you
even
have
gotten around to
one problem
watching
with
it.
the actual film, the actual cartoon, just because they changed one of the characters' voices a lot.
Oh my god, they did. There was this cute little imp girl that was like married to the Billy and Mandy voice actor, the
No,
Zim guy.
Zim.
And
I
she
am
now
Zim.
she used to be this cute little thing, but now she's like southern and stuff.
Country
Oh
bumpkin, yeah.
God, I guess that counts as a hot take. God,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some angry letters about that.
You mean emails. Because
I
this
bet,
is
yeah, oh
digitals.
sorry, letters, emails. But no, I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's going strong, and I really can't say anything bad about it.
Hmm.
It's TV quality animation on YouTube. Pretty simple. That's
Yeah.
what every animator's wanted forever.
This I think like web comics or web shows have always been really interesting to talk about.
No, absolutely. Well, because it's the internet. It's like for everyone. People fucking put everything they need to put on there,
Hmm.
or anything they want, I should say. Like there's this one guy. What was his name? He did Cliffside, That's old. Cliffside was a little western pilot done. I think it was Liam Vickers animation. Oh, I'm probably putting that wrong. I should have wrote it down
Is
or
that
something.
with like
But that's
the
with the Spider Girl. Yeah, that's with the.
oh yeah, that one. I thought you were
That's.
talking about a different Western one that got a pilot or even got a
Oh, are you talking
full
about
episode.
Long Gone Gulch?
Long Gone Gulch,
Because
yeah.
that's also on my list here. But Cliffside, I just wanted to give a shout out, I guess, because that animatic's pretty impressive considering I think it's a solo project,
Hmm.
and I think he's actually doing more independent work like away from that series, but maybe it'll get picked up because it has potential.
Hmm.
I guess it's
All of
everything
these
has
shows that we
potential.
so far talked about have potential.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, I for one would love to see a sequel to literally anything that we've said. Smiling Friends, Hellbenders. Oh, I want Hellbenders back so bad.
Hmm.
It would be so stupid.
Now get ready for my hot take.
Oh, you
One
got one?
cartoon pilot that I do not want to get picked up was the Rayman cartoon.
The Rayman cart. I don't even know there was a pilot for a Rayman. Like you were talking about the guy without the arms,
Yeah, we're
right?
talking about the Mr. Ubisoft. Mr. had
Oh,
had
yeah, I get you.
had two games, then had to wait a while till he got a third game, and then he had to
It's
reboot.
just the rabbits now, isn't it? They're like the little
Not
minions or
rabbits. He
whatever.
got his own game eventually, which is just
Oh, I know
Rayman
he got.
Returns.
He's got all of his well, Rayman Origins and all that. These are vintage. We're showing our age already.
Yeah,
Some kids probably don't even know what the hell those games are.
yeah. Point is, there's a really good Rayman game, Rayman 2. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and you know how like there's a lot of diverse characters. Guess how much characters actually appear in the whole like cartoon?
God, I don't know. Like
3.
three? Oh,
Yeah.
that's okay. Three.
And like the
Of
main
course.
villain is just an access to this clown ringside leader, which is like the pirate like Razorbeard. And the only two other Rayman characters is Golbox, the big blue frog thing,
Yeah, the big frog guy. Yeah.
and Rayman, who is voiced by who's the guy who voices Fry again?
Fry. Oh, from
Yeah,
Futurama.
Futurama.
That
Yeah.
I don't remember what the guy. Is it Billy? That's not Billy West. Billy West is Zim. I
Hmm.
don't. I don't remember the guy's name, but he's very noticeably. Like you
Yeah.
could very much tell.
Hmm. And I count this as a pilot, even though there was like 3 or 4 episodes made, because they made these in bulk, and they were like hoping that it would show off like extremely well, but it did not. Went
Of
straight to
course not.
VHS, and then it just burned because it was just two Rayman characters. Because the third one was just there for like 30 seconds,
Right.
and it was just like this silly little cartoon where it's like they're escaping the law of this detective who's trying to put them back in the circus.
Can you imagine buying a VHS tape with like 4 episodes of like a barely like established series and
Hmm.
then just never seeing anything else from them?
Yep. It's kind of
That'd
weird.
be like one of the kids that'd be like, "Oh, I remember watching Rayman when I was little," but then you look at it and you're like,
Hmm.
"There was never any Rayman to watch. I didn't even know about it until you brought it up."
Yeah. This is unlike the DK cartoon where it used like there in DK there's like it uses like all 4 characters or even
God,
6.
DK, the Donkey Kong Country
Hmm.
cartoon. Now that's something I wish was only a pilot.
I actually do like some songs in it.
Everyone has love for some songs. It's such a meme now. And that's
Shower you
fine.
with coconut cream pies.
That's on every. It's just oh my god. I don't even have anything to say about the Donkey Kong one. I just oh, it
Mhm.
looks awful. Like it's actually it's got
It
some
the
some
Rayman
redeeming
cartoon had
qualities.
that kind of quality to it, but
Ew. So you're telling me so we had a cartoon that had none of the comedy or any redeeming qualities from Donkey Kong Country except the terrible like graphics of it.
yeah, it had those like terrible like
Oh
3D
my
graphics.
god. That'd be awful. Just awful. Just awful.
And that's why I wanted to bring it up because it just failed so hard and no one wants to talk about it.
Speaking of stuff that has failed really hard here, I guess I can't really say failed, but I just got reminded of that. What was that? That Crunchyroll little cartoon slash anime,
Like that Spice Evergarden?
High Guardian Spice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hesitate to call it a cartoon because it's on that Weeaboo platform. But I mean, if you look at it, I wouldn't, you wouldn't look twice if someone told you it was a cartoon.
Or it even
But
belonged on Crunchyroll, the anime platform.
I mean, look at it. It's just, it's got delayed from what I could dig up, and by dig up I mean from a quick Google search. But conspiracies and then the writers being problematic. It's just I don't really see it ever happening. But at least we didn't even get those 4 episodes like Rayman so far. I mean, maybe it'll release tomorrow, and no
That's
one will know.
doubtful.
I mean, you can never. It's doubtful, but not 100%.
Right now, it seems like because I sometimes use Crunchyroll.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so call me a weeb all you want, but so far they're trying to push anime and like Japanese like dramas and stuff. So like
Japanese dramas. That's
yeah,
what they're doing now.
like that's just a side category.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I would always imagine if you ever tried to make a show off of Crunchyroll, that's where it would go to die.
Yeah,
Go somewhere, I don't know, profitable like Verve. Remember Bee and Puppy Cat?
yeah.
That was what was it? Bravest Warriors too. That was all started on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
I
those actually
mean,
got
I would
serious.
love to
So
have Verb, but where I'm currently subsiding in the area of the world, we do not have it. I
yeah,
searched,
it's only like an American thing,
but
right? Or
since
is it?
we're in the Great
Yeah,
White North,
the Great White North. I'm fine without my bravest warriors. All right, I can live without them.
speaking
But
about Canadian stuff, do
what
you
we
remember Kid versus Cat?
kid versus cat.
Where the
Oh
whole
yeah,
theme song is
that,
just the title
yes,
said like 10
yes.
times.
That was that little purple thing, that little purple cat,
It's like
right?
Sphinx like, yeah.
The Sphinx, like Jesus. It was an alien, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an alien.
God, how long ago was that? It was like 2004 or
It
something.
ended in like 2000 like 7 or 8. I actually remember watching the
Surprise.
finale.
The finale. I'm
Mm.
glad I didn't.
All I had
What
for notes was it was originally called "Look What My Sister Dragged In," creative title.
Oh, that would have been a good title. I kind of like that one.
Or I even say a better title, "Look What the Cat Dragged In."
Look
Now
what the cat dragged
that's a
in.
bit more
That could have
clever than
been.
Kid versus Cat or "Look What My Sister Dragged In." And
Kid versus cat is very to the point. It's very the kid and the cat are going to be fighting.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's
like
for
a
kids.
WWE
It's fine.
match.
No, yeah, it's a cartoon WWE match. Speaking of cartoons and WWE, like they're just showing up in all the animations, Scooby Doo and stuff like that. Like, what are
Flintstones.
they doing? Yeah, it's Flintstones with John Cena and shit. Like,
John
who
Cena
asked for
Rock.
this? Of course, that's what he's called.
I
God, I don't
watched
know what
it.
they're doing.
I fucking watched it.
What was it as bad as I thought?
It's just bland.
It's just bland. It's just the wrestlers show up and say, "Hi, I'm John Cena," and then they lift something heavy.
Pretty much. It's like
Pretty much.
um Fred Flintstone's like, "Oh, you see, it's John Cena Rock, the one who works at my factory. But
This is
instead of riding a dinosaur, he just lifts the rocks cuz he's buff."
Oh my god.
And
I'm
then there's
glad
like a
that
wrestling match
stopped.
and it's like John Cena Rock is like, "Wow, I'm actually pretty good at wrestling."
That's awful. I mean, I'm sure it applies to some people probably love wrestling. Oh, great, more hate emails. But I don't know. I don't really think that John Cena should be showing up with Fred Flintstone for God's sake.
Or even as a penguin.
Surfs Up too. Wait, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
These aren't pilots. These
These are just
these are just
terrible things.
these are just WWE crossovers.
Mm. So yeah, just final notes on Kid versus Cat plot. They changed Coop's main voice actor. The cat actually talked at the end, where he had like a stereotypical like evil British voice.
Of course he did.
He's like, "Meh, ha, ha, I got you, kid."
Just called him Kid.
It's
Called
something
him
like that.
Kid versus Cat.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's sad that I even remember the name of most of the characters.
Well, I mean, you probably watched it when you were a kid. It makes sense.
Yeah. And that's it. It was just it could have just fit as an actual episode, Kid versus Cat.
I mean, put it to rest. I think it's better to have a series end before it gets too long. But then again, usually good series get to go out well.
Yeah,
Kid versus Cat. No, honestly, Kid versus Cat. They tried. They
yeah.
tried with what they had, and on it, like it didn't do that bad. But I
Mhm.
just think that, eh, or putting it alongside, the certified classics like SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents.
Mhm.
God, what else I got here? Oh yeah, the what about the pilots that actually made it on TV back in the day? Didn't get anything after that. That was like from the what is that little channel thing called? Like Oh Yeah Cartoons and those little pilot sessions that they had.
Um,
Remember any of those?
Frederator.
I guess Frederator had some work in with it, but I mean, the only one that I have here on my list for a canceled pilot would be the modifiers.
Oh, I have that one too. I actually watched the pilot
Oh,
before
really?
doing
You
this. Yeah,
watched the pilot? Because you see, I would anticipate that if anyone here listening knows anything about the modifiers, it's not
for various reasons.
it's not the cartoon that they know about. They know about. Well, it is technically the cartoon, but
Mhm.
they probably saw it somewhere else, a little bit more debaucherous, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
But that's for another day. Talking about all those
I actually loved
modifiers.
watching the pilot.
It was probably really good. I never watched it myself. I feel like I got
Mhm.
everything I needed out of
And I bet you ten
episode I
dollars.
saw.
You know how the pilot ends?
Yeah, does it end the same way that other episode ends?
No, it just ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh, perfect. Well, I mean, it's a pilot. What do you want them to do? I think it could have been great. I think it could have been a great little series.
Yeah, I think like what I heard, like this happened during the age of Fairly Odd Parents and SpongeBob taking up
Hmm.
most of the limelight. So
Was it on Nickelodeon? Was the modifiers a Nickelodeon thing?
I believe like because like most of the people working on it did like a lot of like extra work for Ren Stimpy work and
Nickelodeon then.
yeah,
Hmm.
Nickelodeon style stuff.
I could have sworn it was Cartoon Network, but who
We could
knows?
both be wrong.
Who cares? I mean, honestly, we're bringing up the modifiers here, and I swear to God, the only people that know about it are the people who have a little bit too much time on their hands.
That's not the only
But
thing in their hands.
okay,
We're channeling
let's not
comedy.
go there.
Yeah.
We, at least it made it on TV. I can't blame them for that. They gave it the good old college try instead of something, like a online little one and done thing.
Hmm.
That also brings me to undergrads, which I know isn't a pilot, but
But it went through like
undergrads,
didn't it
it
go
went
through
through
like
hell.
five?
It went through like yes, it went through like seven iterations of redos and pilots and redos, and then it got a series that lasted like 6 episodes, and then went under, and the creator's still trying to bring it back to this day.
I think they're even trying to make a
On there,
movie right now.
probably it's just about a bunch of college kids hanging out. And honestly, I love it for that. It was a great little show. A little dated at this point, but I mean, I guess everything is dated if it was made like 10 years ago.
Hmm.
Also reminds me of Welcome to Eltingville. You heard of that one before?
I have never heard about it.
Oh my god, you're not missing much because it was based on some comic, and it's essentially just like a bunch of nerds that just hang out and just like talk about pop culture stuff, like Dungeons and Dragons and Star Wars and other stuff
Is
like
this the
that.
Big Bang Theory of animation?
It was probably no, it was probably somewhat like linked in some way because it seems a little bit too on the nose, but or Big Bang Theory stuffed a bunch of like what are they like degree holders into the same apartment building.
Yeah.
Welcome to Eltingville was just a bunch of nerds that got together at the local comic shop,
I mean, we
which
kind of do the same sometimes.
yeah, we do, but I mean, that's how if I ever wanted to imagine my life as like a terrible animated pilot, I'd probably point to Eltingville first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking about nerd culture, one that's been coming up like here and there, Star Wars detours. I think you've
Star
seen
Wars.
a couple of the memes where it's like, "Yo, yo, join the Empire. It's pretty cool."
No, I haven't. I had no idea they were doing this.
It was like, it was an old pilot. Like it came out like
Okay.
during like the days where it's like, oh look, George Lucas likes these parodies, so he endorses all these parodies.
Oh my god.
Um,
Sounds awful.
we have like some people have actually seen the full pilot. I've only seen clips of it, and I'm glad it never came out because
Really?
I don't know if you've seen Star Wars, but they made Han Solo pretty much Jerry Seinfeld.
That's not. No, that's bad. That's really
Um,
bad.
they also like exaggerate like all the characters' features, like how Princess Leia with those like buns just takes up all of her head.
The
They're just
stylistic
huge.
choice.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't fault them for that.
And yeah, it was just a really stupid pilot. And I actually did want to kind of see this pilot because with most of these I've um watched them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't start pulling. I didn't even hear about it. So
Yeah,
the fact that you heard about it, well,
heard about it and
speaks
watched it.
volumes. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. Well, I guess we've been talking about a bunch of pilots that haven't gone anywhere yet
Mhm.
or didn't go anywhere. But what about the ones that did end up going somewhere? Like you ever seen like the Adventure Time pilot?
Oh yeah, that's an
Like, that's
extremely weird one.
crazy. It
He
looks
goes
so
on the
different.
moon and he sees giant Abraham Lincoln.
Really? Well, I never even watched it. I just know that it
I
looked crazy different.
I watch it and I swear I was having a fever dream during it, my bro.
Well, I mean, sometimes in normal Adventure Time, I think I'm having a fever dream too. But
Mhm.
man, I need to rewatch that series.
I
What
would,
else we
but I have a lot of mental fortitude.
got? Mental fortitude. I mean, I guess so. I think we all need to sit together one day and do that.
Speaking about me having a better intelligence than you, how about I
Oh,
talk
okay.
about Rick and
All right.
Morty's pilots?
Rick and Morty.
So it had two pilots. One was Doc and Marty.
Are we even allowed to talk about this? Are we gonna get more hate emails?
Uh,
People either love it or hate it. Rick and Morty. It's still
I
going
I
on,
like
isn't
it,
it?
but
Oh, I know you like it. You had a Rick and Morty wallet for a bit. I
yeah,
know you liked it.
so the
But
only Rick
no,
and Morty
talk
thing
about
I have
this.
in my room.
Talk about this Doc and Marty pilot. I think I know about it. But
So it was like a crudely animated on Flash thing that Justin Roiland did, where he
of
just
course
did
he
like
did.
impressions where it's like Marty, we have to go back in time, Marty, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Like
Um,
lowbrow stuff.
yeah, and it was just a Back to the Future parody at the time.
But it was called Doc and Marty.
Yeah,
Like it's I'm pretty sure.
yeah, it's very on the nose about it because even the design is way more, um,
You could tell.
yeah.
You could definitely tell.
And then eventually it became Rick and Morty with its next pilot, which was eventually just turned into the first episode, where nothing
Yeah.
actually changed that much. I just want to mention how weird Doc and Marty was, because Justin Roiland's an interesting basket case.
Oh yeah, you want to go far back? Do you remember what was that stupid Dr. Seuss like ripoff that he worked on?
Oh,
Mr. Sprinkles.
yeah, Mr. Sprinkles.
This
Hey, look at
demented like
me! It's
cat in that. Oh, it was awful.
doesn't
He
he
like
like
break into
murder?
your house.
Doesn't he murder a kid in that?
No, no, he just wants to have a fun time, but everyone he breaks into the kids' houses, so everyone thinks he's evil. I mean,
I
to be
mean,
fair, it looked pretty demented at the time.
yeah, and he has like those
Even now, I mean,
two
look
like
it up if you haven't. Like I
yeah.
remember watching Mr. Sprinkles,
Mhm.
and that was just some like you'll hear Mr. Sprinkles. It sounds just like Morty, which is just how Justin Roiland talks if he's under pressure. I'm assuming.
If he's at gunpoint.
Can you imagine?
Do the Morty impression.
Not even that.
Aw, jeez.
They just asked him to do anything, and he's just like, "Oh, geez, Rick." It's like, oh god,
He has two
and that's a
modes.
curse.
It's either Rick or Morty. Is his two voice
Well,
impressions.
doesn't he record them at the same time? Like he be in the same booth? Like doesn't he
Yeah.
switch between them?
I think
I guess
I
whenever he
think he'll
can,
like redo the scenes where he obviously
probably.
needs to, because he has to do those organic burps.
You're right. You're right. Oh wait, we've been talking about Rick and Morty too long. It's
Yeah.
gonna turn into the Rick and Morty podcast. What other pilots we got going on here? Then we got Gravity Falls. Man, do you remember that one?
Oh yeah, like didn't Dipper change a lot for
They
design?
both, they both, the designs both kind of changed. But honestly, I thought the designs in the pilot looked all right.
Mhm.
Definitely a little bit more rough than they did now, or how they look now. But I don't know. Like it's just it looked like if you show someone the pilot to Gravity Falls, they'll know that it's Gravity Falls because the characters are all the same. But they'll definitely be able to tell that something's a little off.
Something's wrong with that Grunkle Stan.
Uncle Stan, God, man, I hope kids still watch Gravity Falls because that is a very good show. It's
There's a
very
lot
good.
of shows that I hope kids are watching.
Oh,
Um,
on the flip side, I know I know a few shows the kids should definitely not be watching.
oh, it's saucy territory.
Oh, it's not saucy territory. It's just Steven Universe. Oh
Oh,
yeah. You thought you thought I could go this long without talking about it? No. The pilot looked completely different, and also that show is terrible, and I love it. No, your silence is so loud. I know. I know. No, I'm serious. The,
you know
the the
my
pilot was
suffering.
crazy. It was stylized. You can't be mad at me.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you. I'm just
I
mad
know.
at what it became.
I know. Oh, it's definitely a mess. Honestly, we might have to do an entire episode talking about that garbage. But as of right now, pilot pretty crazy. It was a lot more psychedelic. You know. I guess you didn't. I'm
Yeah,
assuming you didn't watch the Steven Universe pilot.
not really. I watched. I've had like accounts of it, like a Bigfoot
Accounts of it.
sighting.
That's okay. I've never seen it either. I haven't seen most of these pilots, to be honest, except
Mhm.
for maybe the shorter online ones. It's probably because I'm lazy, but that's besides the point.
Speaking about, would this count as a pilot? But Mike and Melissa.
Oh my god.
I had to bring it
Mike
up.
and Melissa. Yes, you did have to bring it up. I know. Mike and Melissa. Yeah, it's a pilot. Oh, I should have added that to my list of the online pilots.
Yeah. It never
God.
came off, but like
Are
once a
you kidding
famous,
me?
well, it
It
took
came
off
off.
later.
It took off. Oh, for anyone who doesn't know, Mike and Melissa is this it's this terribly drawn little
Microsoft Paint.
Microsoft Paint-esque looking escapade fantasy. Like I don't know what to call it. Of just some guy that has like
Named Mike.
raccoon ears and a football helmet.
Say his name.
It's it's Mike.
Damn
It's Mike,
right.
and it's about him going to art college and hating it and hating everyone. And then I don't know, he astral projects too hard and like summons like a furry girlfriend, like purple
Purple
skunk,
skunk
that just like
named
sleeps with him.
Melissa.
And her name is Melissa.
And the
Like,
episode just ends.
yeah, I
No real conflict except for just
the conflict is
Mike
that he
being an
hates everyone.
incel and pissing on a tree.
Yeah, that I hope honestly, I hope nothing bad comes out of that show, like an actual series bad, but more
Hmm.
like I just want it to stay up
Yeah.
forever because it's uh
It's fascinating to watch.
it's a fascinating like slaughter of art, which it's fine, but God Almighty, it's a mess.
Mhm.
They were gonna do a reanimated of that, weren't they?
I think like I keep on hearing like a bunch of people wanting to redo a reanimated. Ever since it was brought up by a YouTuber by the name of Salty DK Dan,
Of course.
and I imagine he might eventually do like a scene or even revoice Mike.
I mean, I've got a soft spot for Mike and Melissa, so I'll have to keep updated on that. But God damn, it's awful. It's an independent project. It was made for school, I'm pretty sure.
No, I
It
think
was
he just
just
did it for fun, and it was projected in front of the
no,
whole
no, it
class.
was
Yes,
no
it
way. I
was.
remember, I remember hearing that he had to present this in an art class. Like I swear to God, it was for school.
the the masturbation scene and the sex
Oh
scene.
my God, yeah, that scene
Imagine
happened,
you're
and like a
just
full-on
sitting
masturbation scene.
uncomfortably in your desk, filled
Yeah,
with other art students, seeing like one of your peers because he is a self-insert. drawing
His
himself
name is Mike in
masturbating.
real life,
Yeah.
oh God.
Ooh.
Oh,
Let's
Mike
talk.
and
I'm gonna
Melissa.
talk about a good pilot that
Oh
never
yeah,
took off.
you want to mouthwash yourself away
Yeah.
from that Mike and Melissa?
Um,
Okay.
have you heard about a little small indie game known as Team Fortress 2?
No, I've never heard of it. Yes, I've heard of Team Torturous too,
Did you
because I
know
was, yeah.
that Team Fortress 2 was originally going to have a show on a pilot on Adult Swim of all things.
Really?
Yeah, that's why we have like a bunch of
Was like
cross
online.
promotions with Adult Swim with TF2. We
Oh,
have
I guess
the
so.
Robot Chicken Hat and the Venture Bros sets and the Aqua Team
Venture
Hunger
Bros.
Force. And do you know about the short expiration date? The one with the
Yeah, I
breads?
think so.
That was
Yeah.
that was the pilot.
Really?
Yeah. And
Huh.
of course it didn't go through. And poor Team Fortress 2.
Still has a
It
player
died.
base.
I was gonna pull a joke and say it just died after that, but no, it's still alive.
It's still going. You still play it.
You're
Like,
damn
God,
right.
you're living in the
I
past with this
like
Team Fortress
throwing
2.
Girardi.
I was
I have
that was like 2009. God.
yeah.
All right, what else we got? What else we got here on our little list?
Um, I'm pretty much done all my cartoons on my list. For me, I just have a bunch of like canceled games.
Oh, yeah, I
That
guess so. I don't have much on that for mine, but
hmm.
what do you got for some
um
canceled games?
the one that I was really sad about, Silent Hills, the
Oh,
Hideo Kojima reboot of Silent Hill. Because
so if anyone doesn't know, Silent Hills, it was the brainchild of Guillermo del Toro and Hideo Kojima.
and
They, and
Konami,
and yeah, they they locked them all in a basement for 4 days and said make something scary, and they did.
it was
And,
called
and
PT originally, but fans just discovered, oh, it's just Silent Hills.
it was this big brain game of how like this. It was PT stands for playable teaser, and then it all leaned into that. And it was gonna be the reboot to the Silent Hill series because that didn't really get a proper send off,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it just kind of
Fizzled out
yeah,
after they
fizzled
gave it
out.
to Western developers. Yeah, it's
There's
true.
like a couple of good ones, like that one on the Wii, which was
Yeah, the Shattered Memories, I
Shared
think.
Memories was pretty all right.
That's good. It psychologically profiles you or whatever, so I can get on board with that.
But
But
yeah, I was
as
always
much as like,
sad that um Konami fired uh Hideo Kojima.
well, that was the beginning of the end for
Yeah.
Konami, wasn't it? That's when everyone started hating them.
And they now killed two franchises, pretty much Silent Hills at this point, and Metal Gear on trying to make that goddamn Metal Gear Survive game.
Oh God, Metal Gear 5 was the last Metal Gear game, and that's all I'm gonna say on
Yeah.
that. Survive didn't happen. I'll deny it. Silent Hills, that could have been something, because PT was scary. It was a good one.
Like
It
it
was
was
like
like
free.
properly scary where it's not it wasn't like Slender scary where it's like, oh,
Oh no, no, it was good. I remember going and playing it with my buddy in high school.
I sadly never got to play it. I only watched playthroughs.
Right. It was scary though. It was good. It's a shame.
It's a
What else we
shame where it
got?
went down. I also have Fez 2, the sequel
Fez 2.
the sequel
Fez
to
2.
Fez.
Talk about mood whiplash. There you go.
From
I mean,
angsty and very scary shit your pants horror to platforming like 8-bit wonderful happiness.
well, that's what he wanted you to believe. What was the guy's name? The developer.
All I know is he
When
was
he,
kind of high up his ass sometimes.
are you kidding me? He couldn't. He cried so hard on the internet he canceled his game. People didn't like Fez 1, so he said wham wham and didn't do the second.
Even though like the large majority of people said, "Hey, Fez was actually a pretty good game."
It was a good game,
I
but the
enjoyed playing it.
developer was awful. I don't even remember his name. But, I mean, I don't think anyone else does either at this point. but that's probably better. Fez 2. I guess it was. Yeah, it was canceled. I swear
Yeah.
to God, I've seen it somewhere, but probably not.
From what I could hear like about it, it was just gonna follow some of the like it was just a continuation of Fez, platforming game.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Scalebound?
I think I remember that.
Scalebound was the, I don't even know how to describe it. You rode a dragon, and the only way I can imagine it would probably have been like Final Fantasy 15, but you have a dragon that fights with you, and like, God, from the trailers it looked really good,
Mm-hmm.
but it got canceled, which I understand because it was very ambitious for the time, but it's one of the only canceled games I remember because that looked super cool. Like, if you haven't seen the Scalebound like gameplay trailers, like, go check them out. Like,
Yeah.
they're really something else. Proof of concepts, I guess. Every game demo looks crazier than the actual game. So
Another game that I added here was just there was originally going to be like you know how there people are like getting really down with Dead by Daylight and the Friday the 13th game.
oh yeah, that
What's
like
one
hunter
horror
kind
thing
of game.
that people forgot about? Guess.
Jason.
No, they already have Jason.
Oh, did the Jason game happen? I don't know. I'm
They had
drawing a blank.
that was the Friday the 13th game that actually came out. But
Oh,
no, I
I
was
always
talking
forget.
about Child's Play. You know, Chucky the doll.
There was gonna be a Chucky game.
Yeah, and
Oh
it was
my
gonna be
God.
like kind of Dead by Daylight esque, where I
No, I
think
get
one
it.
player played Chucky,
Mm-hmm.
and the advantage of that was
You're tiny.
you're tiny and you could like set up traps and stuff like that.
I don't know if a Chucky game could have actually worked
Yeah.
in the way things are going.
All I know is that it did spawn like one game that's being in production right now,
Oh, it did.
which is Great Value Chucky named Charlie, which is called Charlie the Legend, and it's exactly
Really?
way described.
It's just child's play except without violating any of the copyrights.
Yeah, I mean, if they get Chucky in there, I I wouldn't care as much. Like I'd care a little bit, but not. Yeah, it's just like an interesting idea to be able to be this sniving little like killer, who could just like hide in vents and. Do you remember early Child's Play? That one scene where he goes really fast along the carpet.
Can you imagine sitting down with your friends and being like, yeah, let's play child's play? Like, I don't know if I could, to be
They're
honest.
gonna have weird opinions of you after that.
I yeah, saying that sentence, but also I don't know. I think Chucky had its place in like the 80s or the 90s, and it can kind of stay there. I guess Netflix doesn't think so, though. There was that new Chucky movie, wasn't there?
Yeah, and I think they're still trying to continue on to it. That or I think they even later did a reboot, which to me is just getting more and more confusing.
I mean, horror franchises need reboots, but that's besides the point.
Mhm.
This Chucky game got canceled, and I'm fine with it. I don't know how you
I'm
feel
just
about it.
slightly disappointed, but
I think it
it
would have been a fun
like
novelty,
I
but
wouldn't lose that much sleep.
yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like any other smaller ones I can bring up.
Was that your list? Was that
Pretty
all you
much like
got?
I have like a couple like on my mind like Mother 3's like original concept.
Mother 3.
It was originally going to be a
Oh,
3D
on
game,
the 64. Yeah.
64 or GameCube,
Yeah, that was gonna be 3D.
and then it
Oh,
came out only in Japan on the Game Boy Advanced.
we still got the fan translation, and that's been out for years, but
Yeah.
they're not gonna release it. I guarantee they won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of something that's never gonna come out, they were gonna do a sequel to Metroid on the Game Boy. It was gonna
I
be
know you're
after
passionate
Metroid
about that.
Fusion. Yeah, Metroid Dread. That I don't know what it would have been. No one ever saw anything, but all I know is that we haven't got another 2D Metroid in years. By years, I mean it's been decades at this point, I think. Nope,
Yep.
sorry. I always forget that that one on the 3DS came out. That Metroid remake
Federation
2.
Force.
No, the Metroid Samus Returns.
And then
Yeah, it
there's
happened. You forget about that?
yeah. I remember it slightly.
Oh, I didn't play it. I played the one that the fans put together after 10 years that Nintendo destroyed. Very disappointing, but what can you do? What can you do?
What can you do except dream? Except that your dreams are going to be copyrighted by Nintendo.
Everything's copyrighted by Nintendo at this point.
I think we could almost draw this pilot to a close.
The pilot of pilots?
Yeah, pilot of pilots for this pilot.
Sure. I mean, I don't really have anything else to add unless you do.
I just found this topic to just be fun and to finally start like my own little project with a friend.
Yeah, tongue in cheek. Pilot about pilots. I think it'll just be fine.
Yeah.
We can probably wrap it up then.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. And maybe we'll see you again here at the Karmotrine Lounge. I was Eyeball, and my friend here.
I am Charian. I was your co-host and co-bartender, if you will.
I guess so. Anyway,
have a good one.
Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whatever it is.